Shalom, shalom. Alright, pray we loud and clear. Okay. Shalom, shalom. So, first and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well, and teach well, and sincerely taught us this truth. And shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. Alright. It's your brother Yerami Kazak coming back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. The names that I keep saying, that we always say in the beginning, that we're going to continue to say forever, alright, regardless, pistol, hell, sleet, snow, guillotine, firing squad, whatever it be. Okay, the names that we always say, the correct and proper names, are Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means He exists. No origin story, He just is. Don't worry about it. Alright? Yahawashi is the Son's true name. That means He saves, He delivers. The Father created Yahawashi, and through Yahawashi everything else was created. Okay? So He has no preeminence. He is above all of us, every single creation. He is the first creation. Okay? And then Rakakwadash equals a spirit that's holy, a spirit that's set apart. Right? The lesson today will be entitled, Gird Up Thy Loins. Gird Up Thy Loins. We're going to hit those scriptures where it says that, and then we're going to hit a couple other points that I had on my mind that I wrote down. Okay? So, let's start with Job, the 38th chapter, at the top. Then Yahawah answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, now whirlwind is symbolizing a chariot, okay, where, you know, it was the presence, and that's how Yahawashi is going to come, and with a whirlwind, right? Where, you know, that's how it appeared when Moses was at the mountain, and the people was like, let us talk to the Lord. He appeared in a whirlwind. He came, and that's basically the chariot, man. You know, coming with much power. Okay? You know, lightning, thundering, clouds, dark clouds, all that stuff surrounding it. Okay? So that's how the Lord is coming. Don't think that the Lord is moving in a peaceful type of state. To get this peace, which the prince will bring, will ultimately establish, it has to be war. It has to be, you know, a kingdom took down for a kingdom to be established. So that right there is common sense, that you have to know that this is not what the Most High, you know, is pleased with. Okay, this is not it. This is actually the opposite of what He's pleased with. You know, but He's given them a time frame to rule, as we've been told this, and we've been seeing this. Going back to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, Daniel, the 7th chapter, right? You know, the statute, right? Where He's given certain kingdoms time frame to rule. So, you know, you got to understand, these prophecies have to pass, and He's not just going to forget about the prophecies. Verse 2, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? That's, hey, just talking, you being in your emotions, it's like, you know, first when you before you come in this truth, or like Christians right now, people in this world right now, and they're just talking from emotions without knowledge. Right? They're just speaking based upon their feelings and how they feel and whatever their thoughts is. When your thoughts are not the way of the Father, your ways and your thoughts is not His ways. He has a different way to approach a point. Don't look at Him like a human. He's not. Okay, He's not moving like you. He's not thinking like you. He don't sleep like you. He don't go to the bathroom like you. He ain't doing none of the stuff that you're doing. Okay, He don't lie. He don't move like that. Right? His word is bond. So if a certain prophecy was given to a prophet to write it down, then that prophet, you know, is gonna write it down, and it's gonna come to pass, because the Most High inspired it. So verse 3, gird up now thy loins like a man. So your loins be in your mind. You got to get your heart right. You got to get your heart in order. You got to prepare thy soul, prepare thy spirit for what is to come. Now we have been given the opportunity to have that pre understanding, where we got the blueprint, right? You can see it before the whole thing is built up, right? That's why the brothers is also known as the temple, the house, okay, the New Jerusalem, because we know how this building is to be established. So look at yourself as a block to this building. And with that being said, you can't be around complaining about your position or complaining that whatever position that you are on the temple. It does not matter, right? You just got to fit in. And if you don't want to fit in, then guess what? You'll be removed, right? But ultimately, the elect is not going to complain. They're going to fit in, right? They're not going to be deceived. It's impossible for them to be deceived. They're not going to, they're going to make it through, and they're going to be right at the end of the day, man. And that temple is going to be brought together. So they're going to gird up their loins like a man, because that's predestinated for them. But we still have to go through the motions of building ourselves up to that position. You can't just consider yourself to be chosen, because you're not. You don't know. Part of this whole thing is nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows, So that's how the Most High wants it. And that's how it has to be. So humble thyself and be meek, man. All right? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Yahawah did a similar thing with Ezra, right? Asking him all these different type of questions that you cannot answer, okay? So you got to understand, we can't talk through emotions. We got to talk through these scriptures, because this is the blueprint, and this is that interpretation. This is the best understanding that we have to understand what everything is about. The Father's word. He's given us an understanding of everything, what's going to take place, right? So refer back to the scriptures, man. And if you don't get used to doing that, then you're not going to really make it, okay? Because you're not referring back to what the Father said. You're not referring back to what the Son said. You're not going back and studying and researching and girding up thy loins in this book, in this understanding, right? You're moving on your own ways. Let's get a precept. Proverbs 3. And start at the top. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. You're girding up your loins. You're girding up your mind once again with these commandments. You're walking in the correct way of doing things. This is a standard that's going to keep you stable, and it's going to establish you, as Isaiah 33:6 states, man. This is going to get you through. Not all that other nonsense that the world is pushing out, that they say is going to get you through, which they're pushing a destination that's continuous, that's going to keep going, such as America continuing, when we know WW3 is on the verge, right? DJT right now, Trump, Nero, is planning on going into Cuba, and Cuba's planning on fighting back. So we're about to see that unfold, okay? He has no business doing that, but that's what these Edomites do, right? So we cannot forget the laws, commandments, and statutes. The YT man wants you to forget the laws, commandments, and statutes, because when you do that, you are taken away from your power, okay? When you forget your power, then they can be like, we ain't do nothing wrong, because they sinned against their God. That's in Jeremiah 50th chapter. That's in Judas as well. We brought it out at camp. We're just restating it. So the YT man wants you to sin, right? He wants you to have no knowledge of what you're supposed to do. But the knowledge is right here. It's all in the book. You just got to open it and read it. That's why they say they want to hide something from a nigga, you hide it in a book. And hey, the YT man has done it beautifully. Because nobody opens the Bible, and nobody reads it, but everybody talk. This how niggas sound. I read it. No, you didn't. I read it. Okay, what's Obadiah first chapter? How many chapters in Obadiah? That's easy. Well, what Obadiah, the first chapter, well, what's that going into? Who is that about? You know, these are things you should know. All right, these are easy things. You know what I'm saying? But our people talking about they read it and with blah blah blah. But and they can quote the popular scriptures, such as John 3:16. You know, such as no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Well, what is that actually even talking about? Right? What is that weapon that was that the verse before that? What's that iron weapon? What is that talking about? That right there would answer and let you know that this weapon is being formed, this ICBM missile, these nukes, all right, and it's about to come, and it won't prosper if you're in this truth. But if you're not in this truth, that weapon gonna prosper. The weapon that you don't want to open the Bible, that's a weapon to yourself. And that shit is prospering on majority of our people, man. So your ignorance is prospering, and that's a weapon formed against you. You know? So once again, my son, forget not my law, but you have forgotten the law. But let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. You keep the law, commandments, and statutes, that's what you're going to prosper. You're going to be in a better place. You're not going to be dealing with all these ailments and illnesses and all this different stuff. Yeah, we get stuff happens, yeah, but we know how to take care of our bodies, man. You know, you ain't gonna see Jake out here too much, you know, like diabetes or arthritis or, you know, and just really just whatever. No, Jake gonna fast. All right, Jake gonna find some herbs. Jake gonna get right. All right, it's things and ways out here, and then you're gonna live a more balanced life. So your temple is gonna benefit from that, from you eating less and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So Jake is gonna actually put effort into taking care of the temple. But Jake in the world, they just don't care. They don't act like that this is valuable. So you just throw anything in your body, all this fast food that they got up set up for you to destroy you. You just throw it all in your body. You know, well, I got this from blah blah blah. But the oil though, the oil is vegetable oil, the Crisco, the sunflower oil, all this BS oil. That the oil is more detrimental than, the food itself. Right? But this ain't no health live, man. But just, hey, if we keep the laws, commandments, and statutes, we wouldn't be out here eating lobster, crab, shrimp, shellfish, all this stuff that's damaging your body and that you don't supposed to eat, man. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. If you do the opposite, what are you going to have? You're going to have short days. You're going to have chaos. Okay? You don't supposed to get to 50 and be like, I ain't got long left. No, 50 is really, we promised 120, so 50 is halfway, if that. Okay? You're supposed to still be full of life at 50. You're supposed to still be able to run, jump. But you got people out here, they get into their 50s, man, they need help getting up. You got Jake, especially, man, you see Jake these days, man, that be smoking and drinking crazy. They be in their 20s looking 60. They be in their 30s looking, you know what I'm saying? Because they not keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes. They not living a balanced life. You can drink, you can do that, but you got to live a balance. You can't overdo it. Don't be caught up. All right? Have some awareness about these things and don't let your flesh overtake. Verse 3, let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. That goes into girding up your loins. Because you have to keep that standard on your mind. You have to stay in the spirit. You have to stay thinking and moving with morals and integrity and a good sense of character. So when all these situations are approaching and happening to you, you're reverting back to the scriptures. You're not just thinking and be like, oh, I'm going to handle it like this. No, you're thinking, oh, it says this right here, boom, boom, boom. All right, oh, this happened to what's the name? This was in the story, boom. So you're thinking. You just think. Just think. It's important to think, not just to move. Esau just moved. That's why his dumb ass would run and jump into Iran without a game plan. Now they talking about he out of missiles. What? Did you know who you was fighting? Did you scope him out? Did you think that this could spiral out of control and this could damage everything that you done built up? No. And we know it's all part of a bigger plan to bring in that digital currency and all of that, and this totalitarian government, this MOTB, this one world system, right? But it furthermore goes into Esau not thinking that it's no way for you to get out of this situation that you're in. The Most High is set on destroying you. Okay? So you're done, buddy. You're done, man. You know? So keeping it going. This is really stating for the last 3 scriptures. Bro, you got to keep that standard of the laws, commandments, and statutes with you. You got to keep the faith of Yahawashi with you. You got to live off those things. You're not living off of whatever stupid book you read, written by some worldly ass artist. Alright? You got these individuals talking about they woke. They be sleep as hell. You woke. You know? Talking about some ashe. Verse 4. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of Yahawah and man. Yahawashi. Alright, it's reconnecting. Hope I'm good. Alright? I don't know what's up with the signal, but the same thing happened to Yahawashi. He went to the temple, okay, and he grew in knowledge, as it said. And let me see that. I know that's like early, might be in John. If I can't find it fast, then I'm gonna just keep it going. But it was just showing that it's levels, man. You have to continue to grow. You have to study. Right? It ain't just gonna be. People be talking about downloads and all of that. Okay, yeah, you may get a dream or stuff like that, but you still got to put forth the effort and all of that. They don't know how this stuff works, man. If you ain't putting the time in, then what you gonna get out? You ain't gonna get nothing. Dang, I want that scripture though. He grew in knowledge, and he found favor with men. Ain't got nobody on comment board, man. Let me see, man. Like I said, I ain't about to linger on it. But the point being is you grow from experience. Okay, you grow from experience. You're not just gonna have it overnight. You learn and you level up. That's how life is. That's the beauty thing. That's the beauty of life. That's why your people. That's why they looking at Yahawashi went back to Nazareth. They looking at him like, we know you. No, you don't know him no more. He grew. He different. Okay, he's different, man. And they can't comprehend that because they looking at you like they knew you the last time they seen you. You're not that same person. Okay? You should increase in knowledge. I mean, what you doing out here? You just staying stagnant? No, that's stalemate. You gotta increase, you gotta get better. You gotta grow. You don't want to be that same individual, man. You're like, you change. Yeah. Change for the better. Alright? So let's read that again. Because this is all, the qualifications of it is if you're keeping that standard. You're keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes. So verse 4. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of power and man, if you live according to his ways. If you live according to Esau's ways, then you're gonna align with Esau. You might increase in Esau's sight. Alright, but I mean, increasing in the devil's sight, how's that gonna help you? Where's the benefit there? Oh, yeah, you get a promotion, right? You get this and you get that. You'll get you get these type of things. You get grants, LLCs, all this type of stuff. PPP loan, then, go to jail over that shit. You get all these type of things. You're increasing in the devil's sight because you align with the devil. Like, these individuals are going to think they're in a good place when they take that MOTB because they're increasing in the devil's sight. So they'll be able to shop and buy and pay their bills and all of that. And they'll be looking at us like, yeah, y'all can't do none of this. Guess what? Our power's still going to feed us. He's still going to clothe us. He's still going to take care of us. So we're not moving in a carnal sense. And guess what? You'll have that little temporary, that's your salvation, that little temporary salvation, that temporary peace. But then, quickly, it's going to end, man. You're going to get that cancer. You're going to get them grievous sores. Those chips are going to pop. That radiation is going to be running through your body. They turn that 5G up, that 6G. Right? And I can't wait, man. Because this is what these niggas deserve. At the end of the day, this is what these individuals deserve because you went against the Heavenly Father and His Son. Verse 5. Trust in Yahawah with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. So when you girding up thy loins, you need to gird it up the correct and proper way. You need to gird it up in this knowledge and this truth and this wisdom. You got, like, we see certain individuals being exposed and all of that. And that's, we've been seeing that. And it's heightening, it's happening more and more. Okay? Because they was being girded up in the wrong understanding. They was girding up their loins. Yeah, but in the wrong knowledge. They was studying, but the wrong knowledge. Alright? They were growing in wickedness. Okay? This individual, you trying to become a better pimp or whatever. You're learning how to be more deceitful and take people's money. You're learning how to extort. You got people charging for lessons, right? Charging them to get Hebrew names and prayers and, hey, all that type of stuff is free, okay? You just go any Great Millstone Brothers page, bro. It's right there for you, all right? It's right there. It's lessons done on the Hebrew. It's lessons on the names. It's lessons on all this. You understand? It's out there. It's freely given. That's how it's supposed to be. You don't have to pay nothing. So, if you got caught up in those type of scams and those traps, then you are a fool, man. And you deserved it. All right? Honestly. How could you be that stupid? How? You paying $50 for a damn lesson. Hey, man. That's why, sometimes I just gotta be like, man, they just not like us, man. They don't think. They don't think. They're not thinking. It doesn't compute in your mind. Like, it should be something that jumping in your mind, like, he trying to play me. He trying to scam me. Like, what? No, the scriptures. When did Yahawashi ever make somebody pay him for anything? When did John the Baptist ever make somebody pay him for anything? When? When? That's crazy. All right? And to you individuals too, before I move on to the next point, y'all talk so much stuff about brothers teaching on the street when Yahawashi taught on the street, when John the Baptist taught on the street, Jeremiah on the street, Elijah on the street, Ezekiel on the street, all the men of old was on the street. We're in the modern age now. You're supposed to get a check. What? The Most High changed? I ain't get the memo. Somebody send me that email. Alright? So, because we coming in the way that Yahawashi and the apostles came and Paul came, that's showing that y'all hate Yahawashi and y'all hate Paul and y'all hate the apostles because y'all not receiving us. And we coming in the same way. We coming in the same nature. Right? Y'all want what the white man has been giving y'all for years. Every country he go to, he build up a church. That's the first thing he establishes. After he rapes your women and your children. After he does that. Because that's what he loves to do. As we see with the Epstein files and all this type of stuff, we've been knew it. It's the same devil, man. So he establishes that church, man, and puts up that death cross. Right? But hey, our people continuously fall for the okie doke every single generation, every single reincarnation. And they deny Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. And you be talking about God, send me a sign. It's there. It's clearly there. But you so blind. But it's supposed to be that way. Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. In every single thing you do, acknowledge Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. It's not of you. It's never of you. It's never of us. All right? I just said we the messengers. So we coming with a message from somebody that sent us. The same way that Yahawashi came with a message from somebody that sent him. He never said he came in his own name. I come in my Father's name, always. Verse 7, be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear Yahawah and depart from evil. Alright? Or you'll see how Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi will bring you low and destroy you ultimately. So, gird up thy loins in the correct doctrine, not in wickedness. When you putting in stuff into the pot, you building that recipe, you want to put in the right ingredients to get the correct formula. And that right there is what? The apostles' doctrine. That's what we're doing. We're moving with the right ingredients. We're not trying to create a random dish. Okay? Talking about Gentiles can be saved and things of that nature. The heathens can be saved. That right there is a random dish. That's not in the scriptures. So the Most High has no pleasure in that. Okay? I got 3 points. Work over complaints. Alright? Because we see, constantly, you may get videos took down. Alright? You may get shadow banned or all this type of stuff happens. Alright? Hey, we in this man's kingdom. I mean, expect it. You at war and you expect not to get shot at? You know what I'm saying? It's here. Everybody getting shot at, bro. It's like somebody, I'm getting shot at. Nigga, I'm getting shot at too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just produce work. Over complaining. Because it's like we all getting shot at. We all carrying the cross. Let's get that. We all going through the same hell. We all going through the same, And everybody got different levels of a cross, but we all carrying a cross. And it's, as they said, his cross. Let's get that. This is Matthew 10, and I started 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Everybody's not going to agree. Everybody's not going to be woke up at this point in time. Okay? Your moms may not get it. Your sister may not get it. All right? Your pops may not get it. Okay? Even though you got that agape love where you want them to get it, but it's just not destined for them. All right? Boo-hoo, cry about it. Nah. It is what it is. Once you furthermore get comfortable and Yahawashi comforts you and lets you understand what's truly going to happen, that they'll be brought back in the kingdom, okay, as your kids, all right, if they be Israelites. Because, hey, we got certain individuals where dude's mom is an Edomite, I guess, and he trying to save her. That's why he's creating some crazy-ass doctrine. Well, she's done, buddy. She's done. She's just done. You can't do nothing for that. All right? Like what? Stop being so damn soft. All right? That's showing a carnal mindset of being too attached to this world. Where you choose your people over Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. You can't be like that, man. That's wild. Don't you understand what's really taking place? Verse 36, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. This echoed with Abraham and Isaac. It echoed, right? Even back with Adam and Cain. You don't think Adam was sad about what Cain did to Abel? Most likely. damn, my son killed my other son, you know, that shit probably had to hurt. And, you know, you want as a father, you want your kids to make it, you know, but can't be too damn attached. If one is wicked, she's just wicked. I ain't about to be wicked with him, and I ain't about to excuse his faults. I ain't about to excuse his sin. This is a problem that we saw with King David, and how he excused Absalom. He allowed Absalom's hair to grow, and Absalom to do this and do that. You know, he had the soft spot for his son. You can't have that soft spot, because then therefore that sets you up for, it sets up a track record of disobedience for that kid, and then ultimately that kid may rise up against you, as we saw that. And that was supposed to happen because of what David did, you know, with what's the dude, man? That dude's wife, Uriah, right? Uriah's wife. You know, that wasn't his wife. He committed adultery, right? So it was all prophecy that had to pass. But that soft spot cannot be there. You can't have no soft spot. You got to be real. You got to be straight. You can't sugarcoat it. You got a term in the world called spoiling. You spoil the kids. Well, you're setting them up for a world that's not real. The world is not sweet. The world is not soft. The world is full of deceit. It's full of danger. This shit that we in is full of danger, deceit. People will rob you. They'll steal from you. They'll betray you. They'll laugh in your face. They'll do all of this, man. All right? And they'll act like they're good people, etc., etc. So it's best to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? So you won't hinder and prevent the truth. Verse 38, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. If you was cupcaked out a kid and all of that and catered to and all of that, then when you get to the real world and now you got to get a job and your boss talking to you any type of way, and you know, you like, damn, I got to work all these hours and stuff. But as a kid, you had a silver spoon fed in your mouth. You're going to quit because you never experienced any of this before. You thought the world was sweet. You never pictured you having to work 12 hours, 16 hours. You never pictured that. You can't comprehend it. Like, man, no, I want to go back to mom's. So that's what Christianity does. It cupcakes to people and makes them think that the Most High is some, you know, like he's sweet or something. Nah, he ain't sweet, man. Okay? So lucky I lost my place. What was that? 38. Verse 38. Again, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. As it states in Revelations 12 and 11, they love not their life unto the death. Alright? So we ain't down here being too damn attached to this temple. It's just on top of that, it's a sinful flesh. It's sinful flesh. You attach to the weak body with all the ailments, all the sickness. You get sick. You get a cold. Man, you're supposed to get no cold. Gad never got colds. They never got colds. You know, if they did, it was rare, but I don't think they really ever got colds until the YT man stepped foot over here and brought sickness and brought his wicked ways. They used to drink from the streams. There was no pollution. They used to eat the food. It was balanced. The air was great. Trees everywhere. It was a paradise. North America, South America, you know, it was a paradise, man. All right. So this is not somewhere where you want to be attached to, because this is not somewhere where you want to grow old in. This is not somewhere where I want to see my kids, you know, grow. Like, nah, man. Especially with these YNs and these, nah, man. This stuff. How they can't continue. I know the dating scene Gotta be terrible. Revelations 12 and 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, which is Yahawashi, and by the word of their testimony. All right? So we're out here crying, we're testifying, we're providing evidence against this devil. We're crying out loud. And they love not their lives unto the death. They're not attached to their lives. They're not, no, man. But you got people out here, they obsessed with their bodies. They obsessed with, you know, their looks and everything. You know, and do your thing. Groom yourself and do all that. You know, Jake, we be fly. We get fly sometimes, things of that nature. But we ain't obsessed. We ain't like on the Instagram with the camera and like, yeah. No. That's nah, bro. Selfie. That's self-obsession. That's strange. But this world doesn't think it's strange because this society is so backwards now where they can't comprehend that that's strange. So if I tell somebody that's taking a selfie, that's strange, that's weird, you know, that's not good for you, and they'll look at me like I'm stupid because this place is upside down. But that's how we know that it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's there. It's like the times of Noah once again. It's there. We're getting there. So through all this vexation that we feel, we got to work over the complaints. Work over complaining, because complaining does nothing. Excuses does nothing. Right? But going and work and trying to fix the issue and fix the problem and continuing to go, that right there it speaks louder than words. So actions are louder than words. You know? So we just got to keep pushing, man. We know what we expect the expected. All right? Man, somebody said that. An elder, a son, I heard it. Somebody said it the other day. But expect the expected, man. We know what to expect. I expect your page to get took down. Expect videos to get took down. Expect man, I ain't getting no strike, but I got a warning the other day because I did a lesson on PORN. I went deep dive into it, how it messes up your I just discovered it's a thing called PORN, erectile dysfunction. You know, so it really messes up your the way that you're supposed to be with a woman, because and that's for women too. You're expecting all this crazy shit, but that's not real life, you know. But Esau, that's probably why I got took down, because I went into they own P-Hub, they own, what's that shit, Blazers, and they own, it's a U-Hub or some shit. They own all these porn sites, man. I went into them, exposed them. They basically said they created it to, destroy, and they say on the Wikipedia, it's this dude named Al Goldstein. They created it to destroy Christian society or whatever, you know, just basically to target our people, right, and this world, you know. So that's why they did it. And they said ain't no God. They said we are God. This is an Amalekite talking. Al Goldstein. That's on his Wikipedia page, on his views on religion. You can go and look at that. That's literally his quote. He said, "It's not a God. We are God. We control this. You know, and we're going to do what we want to do." So that's their whole mindset behind PORN. And that's why it's $1 billion company. Because it destroys the way of life. That's why you got women out here. You get a good dude, 9 to 5, you got a job, got a car, and you say he boring. Because your mindset, you're living in a fantasy world. You see the Instagram, you see your girlfriend, she doing this and she doing that. Boom, boom, boom. You see all this stupid shit. You see Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and all of this. And you think that's your life. No. Now you can't get that life. That's not a real life. These celebrities, they don't really have that stuff. They be leasing. The videos be fake. The cars be leased. They use Turo. They use, you know, these apps. Should be, man, these niggas artificial. All right. So second point, awareness. We gotta Stay aware. So girding up thy loins, you're working out your spirit. And that goes back, let's get this precept. And 2, examining thyself. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Examine goes into the word aware. So be aware of your actions. And that goes into the word being accountable. All right? What am I doing? How am I moving? You know? I think about that like, hey, doing lessons with brothers and things of that nature. Am I talking too much? Am I talking too less? Am I bringing out precepts? You know, am I supporting, etc., etc.? You want to be considerate, because this world is a natural affection is truly gone, man. This world is not considerate. You get on, and you can find that. Just get on the road and drive. People is assholes. You know what I'm saying? So natural affection is gone. Ain't nobody trying to give you the right of way. Ain't nobody trying to let you go. Ain't nobody trying to let you in. Ain't nobody trying to be cool. Like, it's not that human experience back in the 90s and shit, where it used to be a little bit, that's gone. That's gone. That's why I said, with these YNs and these YBs and this society that's coming up next, oh, this place is totally gone. That's why we know where we at, because these people have no consideration. You got women out here, man, it's done. It's done. It's over. It's over. So examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahawashi HaMashiach is in you, except you be reprobates. Don't get to the point where you like these individuals that's falling out. They never examine themselves. They never stopped. They never sat in silence and just thought. They never, like I said, think. They never thought according to the scriptures. Now, they thought according to, how can I get some more money? How am I, boom, boom, boom. That's what they was thinking about. Money, because that's their God, mammon. So that's what they was constantly contemplating. Money. You know? Oh, yeah, if I teach this doctrine. And I believe, as you know, brother said, I believe too, they got paid off to teach heresies. It's crazy some of the things that these individuals be saying, man. And these Christians too, like, you could read the Bible and tell that the whole Bible is about the Israelites. So what are you teaching? You can see that the whole thing is like, come on, man. He deals with no other nation. Just one quick precept on that. And I'm going to get to my last point. I'm going to wrap it up. This is Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So that standard that we talked about in Proverbs 3rd chapter is only given to the Israelites. That standard is only given to our people. Okay? He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahawah. Okay? So he ain't dealt with no other nations. He's only dealt with Israel. Alright? At the end of the day. Let me see. It's the ancient Babylon idol of the Amos, man. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, man. And that be these individuals. Because you haven't got that standard. So you don't know what you're talking about. So you come in here and you speak foolishly. Alright? So the next point, last point I got is faith over fear. And we kind of touched over that with loving not your life unto the death, putting back attachments, choosing Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi over everything, making him your priority, right? So faith over fear. Let's touch on faith real quick. This is Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Never seen Yahawah, never seen Yahawashi. all right, in this lifetime. Because some brothers may have walked with him. All right, you may have been right there. You know, you may have witnessed certain miracles and things of that nature, because we understand regeneration, reincarnation. All right, but we've never seen them at this point, current time. We have no recollection of the past, right? Of a past life. There's no remembrance of former things. But we still believe to the point where, hey, we're going to die behind this. You know? So that right there is that strong faith. But it's one thing to say that, all right? Because anybody can say it. And we understand that. So it's a time to come and prove that, all right? You know, and hey, we pray that Yahawah Shem Yahawashi will deliver us and keep those type of trials from us. He might have to get thrown in prison or whatever it may be. But hey, I pray, you know, you'll come and rescue us like he did our forefathers. You'll come and take us up out of that. And keep us and our family safe through Jacob's trouble, as he states. But we understand, hey, it is a possibility, you know. And that right there is the main thing that may make some brothers fear. You know what I'm saying? But understanding, we're going to get revelations, because fear, you can't be fearful. Having faith. That's why I said faith over fear. This is Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat. A servant, one that serves day and night, not changing, not falling, not taking breaks, okay, not giving up. You know, let's say you do mess up, all right? You a servant, you drop a glass, you spill the wine on the ground. All right, the master rebuke you. Okay, come back and serve again. Go harder. Okay, hold a glass a different way this time. You know how to hold it now? All right, you good. You got it this time, yo. It ain't that big of a deal. We all make mistakes. The fact is how you react and come back from that mistake. It's like, oh yeah, you ain't gonna spill that wine this time. You got that wine, you know. So you want to be a servant, man. And that a servant is 24/7, ongoing. All right, it's ongoing. You pray without ceasing. Constant conversation. You talking. Halalyam like Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, man. Always you there. Because if you're not, and you got to examine yourself to make sure you still there. Because like we see, these guys fell away from the name. So they didn't gird up their loins, like I said, in the correct doctrine, the correct understanding. And if they had the names, because you see certain individuals will have it and they'll lose it, they never truly believed. You wasn't really talking, and you was just only on camera. You wasn't off camera with it. You know? And you can listen. Really not really going into that situation, because I did a lesson on it earlier, but you can listen to the way the individual talk, and he sounds just like a nigga, man. So you know a man by his countenance. You know a man by his speech. You know a man by his ways, how he looks, how he dresses, how he acts. Right? You can tell there ain't no spirit there. It's a shell. It's nothing. It's dead. And that's why they would say certain things. So in this time, what? But ye shall be hungry. This is talking to you false prophets and you heathens, the dead. You want to align with the dead, the heathens, then you're going to be with the dead. Because you aligned yourself with the dead. You taught things that the dead told you to teach. That's crazy though. When you had a far greater inheritance than them, but you reduce yourself to them. But ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. We're going to see that in the physical, of course, and we're already seeing it right now in the spiritual, where we're eating and drinking and rejoicing in this truth. We're feasting. every single day. We're taking it in. Right? That's furthermore going to the famine of the word, which is setting in. Where it's like, even though the truth is still here, they can't take it. So it's like the famine of the word is just, by default, it's placed on these individuals. The Most High will not allow them to get it. No matter how much we teach, it just wasn't made for them. And that's terrifying, man. You know? So to end it up, go to Revelations 20. Nah, what's that? Fearful, the fearful. That ain't 20. Is that 21? The fearful and the unbelieving. 21 and 8. Alright. I'll start at 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. Now who overcomes? Alright? Those that gave that testimony. They overcome by the blood of the Lamb. They overcome because they testified. They got up on the stand. They stood up. They said it boldly. I was watching these mafia documentaries, and you had this one dude, you know, they had this term called omerta. It's basically silence, no snitching. Where this dude broke the code, I think it was like in the 50s or the 60s or whatever. He got up on the stand. He testified against all these dudes, knowing that he was most likely going to die, you know, but he went into witness protection, all right? But that's, in a sense, not a betrayal, but we're testifying knowing that death is there. But you still have to be bold with it, knowing that Esau is coming, all right? Now, he can't touch us unless Yahawah allows him to touch us. You know, that's why we can get on his corner and knock it down every single weekend. That's why we get on his YouTube. This is owned by the Amalekites. All right? YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Okay? We can get on these sites and expose him. In a way, of course, we know he's collecting data. We understand that. Right? But that's the point of being bold too. We know we on that red list and that blue list. We understand. We know how he operates. We've been given the blueprint. We can see. But that's going back to loving not thy lives unto the death. We know you're going to come down like a flood eventually, but we know how our power is going to move on that. He's going to raise us up and give us powers. Yahawah, we be of that number. So your master plan has no percentage, you know, at all to fail. It's 0%. That's the chance that it's gonna work. 0%, man. Your enterprise will not stand. So he that overcometh, Revelations 21 and 7, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers, you pimps, and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And all these different type of characteristics, you know, it doesn't just mean, like, a sorcerer doesn't just mean one that, like, you do zodiac signs, you're a sorcerer, okay? Taurus, Leo, Virgo, no, okay? That's sorcery. That's divination. We don't do that, all right? That's not our culture. Show me Leo, Virgo, Gemini, all that shit. Show me that in the scriptures. Where? The scriptures goes against that. All right? Idolaters. You know, you worshiping money over Yahawah, Yahawashi. You giving more time to the Spurs you know, you a bandwagon fan over Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's about your priorities, man. These decisions is important. You can have your little pleasures, but don't let them outweigh Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. You gotta forsake this world. You know what I'm saying? So all these individuals shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. America. This place is gonna burn. Alright? So hey, with that being said, man, I'm gonna wrap it up right there. And 3 points again is work over complaints. So summarizing it is just, hey, work through the bullshit. Work through the vexation. Work through Esau giving us strikes and stuff of that nature. Hey, learn his little system. Learn what you cannot say and what you can say. Don't, move wise. You're supposed to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So you're supposed to move in that type of way. You know that you can't be on the internet talking about saying VACCINE. Can't say that too many times, man. No? So apply wisdom. So work over complaints. Awareness. That goes the same thing. Be aware. You know what I'm saying? And faith over fear. Alright? So pray this was edifying. Hey, giving all praises, honor, and glory once again to Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. As always, that rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us the truth. Shalom to the Lord, so for elect. Kwam Yasha'Allah, and abide, babal, keep the faith. Shalom, shalom.